God's word. And there are ways that we'll go about it. One of the ways is to understand today's world. As parents, let's not shut ourselves away from the world, because for you to be able to get your child to understand what you are trying to relate to that child, you, on the other hand, need to understand what the child is telling you. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You can't just come and give them rules. You need to understand the world. And in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1, the Bible told us that in these last days, there will be diverse types of doctrines, diverse types of teachings. We're in the perilous times, right? And the love of many will wax cold. A lot of people will change. A lot of things will happen. 30, 40 years ago, I was born and bred in the north. And in the north, some 30 years ago, we have gay who are men, but then they are not bold to declare that they are gay. They call them Tendodo. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. So we call them Tendodo. They pretend not to be who they are. But in the world today, we have bold people. In fact, there are associations of LGBTQ, right? We have lesbians, we have gay, we have bisexual, we have different, and they come out, they have a community that are bold. So if as a father, you don't come down to understand what the world today is about, it will be difficult for you to help your child to maneuver in the world of today. So I keep saying that as a millennial, don't train a Gen Z the way you were raised. It will backfire. If you want to say the way I was brought up, yesterday I was still talking to one of my sisters that is in the UK, and we're still saying that our upbringing was child abuse. Okay, no, our upbringing is the child abuse of today. Do you understand what I'm saying? In those days, I was raised by my grandmother. If you offend her in the afternoon, she will beat you in the middle of the night. Now, if you try that anywhere, I'm not saying in Senaka, no, I'm saying even in Nigeria, there is a level of beating you give your child. You are on social media. They have cast you. Before you know, police has come to arrest you. In those days, you will do something in the afternoon and you are there shouting, and neighbor, Emma, no, Emma, no. My grandmother was like, no, Emma, worry. Midnight, she'll wake you up. She will now tell you, bye. So she'll be beating you, covering your mouth and be shouting. But you cannot shout out, because the more you shout, the more you collect. But try that in the world today. You are going to prison. She was talking to me about how that her son is her son and my last born, they are age mates. So the boy is 4. And she's like, immediately they got to the UK and they enrolled the boy in school. The first lesson they taught them was how to call 911 if your parent beats you. That was the first lesson. Now, regardless of what that child did, they don't want to know. But they taught that child that the first thing you do is when your parent beats you, you call 911. So I was asking her, so you don't beat him? She said, no, I don't beat him, I spank him. So she was like, in that place, if they say, do your parents spank you? And you say, yes, they understand that. But do your parent beat you? And you say, yes, they are collecting the child from you. They will say that is child abuse. So as parents, let's understand. So God gave them one wisdom. And when she said she doesn't tell her son, I'll beat you. She said, I'll spank you. So even when they're asking him, you say, yes, my mommy spanks me. But we know spanking and spanking is different. Okay? All right. So as parents, we need to understand the world that we are in. Let's not just keep saying, hey, I'm talking to him. He's not answering. I'm saying everything. He's not hearing. Are you saying it in the language that he understands? In those days, when you do something and your mother looks at you like this, you already understand what she's saying. In today, if you look at a child like that, the child will ask you, Mommy, is something wrong with your eyes? Abi? Because he doesn't understand the language that you're speaking. So as a parent, come down to the level of the children. Come to today's world and understand what the world is about before you start disciplining a child. Before you discipline a child, understand what the child is about, what this world of today is about. The message that the world teaches the children today is follow your heart. But the message that Christ tells us is follow Jesus. That's why in Romans chapter 12 verse 2, he said, do not conform yourself to the pattern of this world. He said, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Children cannot renew their mind on their own. They cannot renew their mind by themselves. But God uses people to help them renew their mind. And parents are the primary instruments that God uses. So as a parent now, tell yourself so that you won't forget that I am the primary instrument God is going to use to transform the mind of my children. Please say it like you mean. Say, I am the primary instrument God is using to renew the mind of my children. Okay, so if we look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 24 to 25, the Bible says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. You see, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. So, now how do we raise godly children? How do we raise godly children? Ways that we raise godly children, one of the ways that we raise godly children is first off to have a healthy marriage. Have a healthy marriage. Children know how to copy. Children are like a computer. They are garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you give to them is what they give to you, right? Whatever you put in them is what they bring out. So if you, and the funny thing about children is they don't do what you say. They do what you do. Children learn faster by what they see you do. If you are telling a child now, don't lie, and then as a father, you are in your bed, your sitting room, and somebody is asking you, I'm supposed to meet you at Sabo, where you are like, I'm on my way, and then you are in your house. That child will lie because he has seen you lie. If you look deep and you notice, children who are brought up in a loving environment are oftentimes good. Children raised in a loving environment are good. Children who witness love, forgiveness, respect, affection, those kind of children, is easy for you to help renew their minds. It's easier when you love your husband or you love your wife. It's easy for you to extend the love to your children, and then it's easy for you to help them grow in that love. You can't, let me put it this way. One of the reasons why some of us got beaten beyond recognition in those days was either because the father was angry or the mother was angry. When you see children that are brought up with love, they don't beat them that much. Am I correct? One of the reasons why you chop beating when you were growing up was because either your daddy did something and your mommy was angry, and then you now did something along the line. So she will now carry everything and be on your head because she cannot beat your daddy, but she can beat you, right? The reason why some fathers will carry their children and kick the child is out of anger. If they are not angry, they don't do that. So if you want to raise godly children, first off, have a godly home. A home that is embedded in love, in forgiveness, in respect, with affection. A home that is sweet. It is easy for you to raise children. You will be able to raise children properly. Have you noticed that an angry man does not know how to talk? Like when somebody is angry, he doesn't know how to talk. So when you're trying to correct a child that has done something and then you're angry, you're not happy, you're coming from a place of bitterness, you will not correct that child. You will just abuse the child. Because correction is different from abuse. Oh, I want to correct my child is that you did something and I am telling you that this thing that you have done is wrong, so don't do it again next time, okay? I'm going to punish you, or I'm going to give you a measure of correction so that you will remember that next time you see the child take that correction or that punishment with joy because he understands why you are punishing him. But you just come and the child is just entering power. The child does not even know what you're talking about, but you have slapped him like 3 to 4 times. So even when you start saying, this is what you have done, he's not listening anymore. He's no longer listening to you because you have destabilized the child already. So, but always strive to make sure that you live in an environment that is clothed with love, with affection, with forgiveness, with peace, with unity, with regards for each other. I'm sure that our bishop will say more about family. But a child that witnesses all of these things continuously, it develops emotional security. Sometimes children make wrongs because they made mistakes. It's not like that thing they did wrong was done intentionally. Some of them, they did it out of mistake. Okay? So, but when you don't give them an environment that is loving or comfortable enough for them to express themselves, you just come up with the scolding and, fighting and all of that, and everywhere is scattered. Another thing I want us to understand as parents is that we are our children's first teachers. Long before the church, the school, there was family. The first thing that God created after creation is family. Abi? The first thing that God called into existence is family. So long before school came, that was family. Long before church even started, that was family. So you are your children's first teacher. You should also let them be emotionally safe with you. Healthy homes create emotional safety. Make your home so healthy that your children will feel safe. I know children that when they get opportunity to leave their homes, they don't want to come back. Let's not let our homes be like that. Make sure that your home is safe. Let the children feel loved. Let the children feel like they belong. Let them feel like they can make mistakes without losing your love or your trust as parents. That way, you teach them easily. You reform them easily. You correct them easily. Once they know that even if I do something wrong now, I know there was a schoolmate of mine then, she would be like, even if I kill somebody now, my daddy is the first person I'll call. Be their safe place. Don't let them go to their friends before they come to you. Because their friends will only tell them what they know in their small mind. And most times, it's that small thing that they tell them that leads them astray. Be your children's safe place. Let them feel like they can come to you, come rain, come sunshine, no matter what happens. Let your son or your daughter be able to say, even if I kill somebody today, the first person I will call is my daddy. Or the first person I will call is my mommy. One of the greatest mistakes that we do is to assume that whatever they were taught in church is okay. Or we send them to private school. I'm working so that you can go to school, you can have education. We invest so much in the education of our children, and we don't even see the need to invest in their emotions. And we forget that a child that is already battered, no matter the level of education you give that child, you can't get it right. Education doesn't train a child. It only puts a form of discipline in the hand of the child. At the end of training in school, you become either a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse, an architect, or anything. But you can't go to school and come back and be good and be kind and be gentle and be respectful. In fact, schools, especially private schools today, they don't teach respect anymore. They teach rights. You have the right to. You have the right to. Nobody teaches respect anymore. I was saying that in my days, when we were growing up, when my grandmother sends you on an errand, she will spit on the floor. Okay, you relate. She'll spit on the floor and she'll be like, Like, it must not dry before you come back home. And you be like, okay. Let me assure you that maybe on my way coming, I saw this grandma carrying a bag. And then I just greeted her that, good evening, ma. And I went home. And I got home before the saliva dry. You know, my saving grace is that I don't tell her about it. But if she says, what did today? I'm like, as I was coming, I even saw grandma, she was carrying bag. I just run and passed her and I was coming home. The beating I will chop that day is not here. But if you come back later than when she said, and then she said, why did you stay long? You say, no, I saw grandma was doing, so I helped her carry her back to the house. She will bless you. Today, not in my church, our pastor's wife was coming that day, and some teenagers and youths were, standing, and I was coming, and the woman was carrying bag, and they were all moving and saying, good morning, ma, good morning, ma. And she was struggling with 2 bags. These children are church children. They come to junior church every day. They go to school. Some of them are in secondary school or just graduated. So that means they were taught in school. Sunday school teachers did their part, right? The society did its part. But there's no place for the respect that they should have been taught from home. So don't leave your part to school teachers. Don't leave your part to Sunday school teachers or junior church teachers. Don't leave the role you're supposed to play in the life of your child to the society, because they will do rubbish. I can assure you, they will do rubbish. A Sunday school teacher or a junior church teacher is somebody that the child sees only 52 times in a year. Every Sunday, Abi? And we have 52 weeks in a year. So that means that the child and the teacher, they are together only 52 times in a year. And for this time that they are together, they are teaching them different Bible story, how to learn this, how to know this. Then there's a time they'll be teaching them special number for Children's Day. They'll be teaching them drama. So there might not be enough time for them to teach them value, to teach them respect. Class teacher is paid to teach them English, math, science, social studies, and the likes. Nobody was paid to teach your children manners. So if you don't do it, nobody will do it. Don't expect to get what you do not put in those children. You teach them, they get it. You do it, they see it, they copy. But you are not there because you are not at home. And then the small time you have to spend with them when you come, you are working again. Or you want to go and sleep. Or you want to go and do something. Or you don't have their time. Do not. The way God arranged this is for you to train your child. That's why I said, I know my servant Abraham, that he will teach his children. He did not say that he will allow his slave to teach his children. Abi? He did not say that he will allow his uncle or his brothers to teach his. He said that he will teach his children. So your primary assignment as parents is to raise those children. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 to 7, he said, this commandment that I give you today are to be in your hearts. Impress them on your children. That is, teach it to your children, right? Talk to them, talk about it to them when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Meaning that teach them continually. Teach them in your words. Teach them with your own actions. Don't be teaching your children to respect others when you yourself do not respect. They will not respect. They will do what you do. One day I was in the prayer corner in my house, and I was praying, and my 4-year-old came and sat down, and she was just mumbling her mouth, and all of that. And after a while, she said, Mommy, I'm speaking in tongues. What does she even know is speaking in tongues? But because she sees somebody do it. That's how children are. They photocopy whatever they see. Forget what you're saying, no. If you like be saying, obey your parents, obey your elders, and you don't, they will not do what you say. They will only do what you do. So that goes to tell you that in order to raise kingdom children, you yourself have to be kingdom conscious. You cannot be worldly and be thinking you are going to raise spiritual giants. So it's not going to work. So train your children continually. Teaching is not an event, or we'll create a time where I'll teach them. No, teaching is a lifestyle. So whatever you want to see in them, leave it. Then you see it in them. The Lord will help us in the name of Jesus. Children learn more from what you do. It is called modeling. They look at you and they do what you do. They don't. Have you noticed that some children even talk? You see a boy we try to be talking like his father. You have not seen. You see sometimes when you are not around, your children will wear your shoe, or especially girls. They'll be walking the way you are walking. That's how children are. They watch you. They watch you beyond what you say. In fact, let me put it this way, that they don't even listen to what you are saying. Have you noticed when you say, leave there, is when they are going there. But you just go to the kitchen and do like this. Ooh. And then now carry the child's hand and want to say, don't touch it, don't touch it. You see, when you say don't touch it, it's that time they want to touch it. But when you act it out and they see that you don't touch it, or when you touch it, you get harm. I saw a video on the internet, and this boy loved his phone so much that when the parents collect the phone from him, he would shout, shout. So in the school, in China, they did like a short playlet. The child is about 3 or 4 years old. They gave him his phone. He was pressing. He was on the phone. Later, they took him out and brought him out back with bandage. The eyes were bandaged, and they now said the phone is the reason why his eyes is bandaged. So they gave the boy his phone back, and he said no. And he said no. So they now finished the drama, and everybody clapped. So after that, they now showed another place where the entire small children, all of them that were watching, they were giving them phone. These children were crying, I don't want! Because they have seen that one of their colleagues watched phone until his eyes fell out, and they had to bandage his eyes. So children are like that. The easiest way to teach your child is to be who you want them to be. You want them to be gentle, be gentle. You want them to be kind, be kind. You want them to be good, be good. My husband is a praying machine. There's a way he prays, and then he will shout in Jesus' name. So one day my son was praying, and then he shouted. I was like, why you shout? That's how daddy used to shout. He doesn't even understand why his father is shouting, but the fact that his father is shouting, he wants to shout too. So be who you want your children to be. That way, you will raise kingdom children. Academic excellence is wonderful. When your children are in sports, in one sporting exercise or the other, it's amazing. They are talented, is wonderful. But character is what will determine their destiny. I used to say this thing, that talent can take you far, but character will keep you there. Do you know it is possible for a person to get an employment today and lose it today because of bad character? So don't put children in the society who are without morals or without any form of character. Character is very important. That's why the Bible in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, so that when he grows up, he will not depart from it. Right? You have to train. And training requires repetition. These are the things that our parents will run away from. They do like, how many times would I tell you this thing? That's why you're there. Say it as many times as you should until they get it. Training requires repetition. It requires correction. It requires encouragement. And we have to be consistent about it. You don't expect the child to be perfect. Don't ever think that your child will be perfect. Teach your children a lot. Teach them integrity. And Proverbs chapter 10 verse 9 says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. You're walking in integrity, you walk securely. Teach them humanity. Teach them this. I think throughout this year now, I've been trying to teach my children kindness. Like when you see people in your class that don't have food, you have more than enough, share. Because kindness has disappeared from our world today. In those days, when something happens to someone and the person is maybe involved in an accident or falls down or something, people come. You know, take him to the hospital. This one will say, carry his head. This one will say, carry his leg. Don't worry, let me. Today, just fall down. Everybody, they want to do content. Nobody is worried whether somebody is dying anymore. Nobody is worried whether somebody is in discomfort anymore. There's no kindness. Please, as parents, learn to return kindness back to the world. Because you might not need it today, but you might need it someday. Teach your children to be kind. Teach them integrity. Teach them to be kind. Teach them compassion. Jesus modeled compassion. Micah chapter 6 verse 8, he says, act justly, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. Don't be proud. Have compassion. The fruit of the Spirit tells us self-control, right? Have self-control. Don't be swept away everywhere by the wind of doctrine. Have self-control. And let's also, most importantly, teach our children courage. Teach them courage. Don't let them be timid. Some of us have beat courage out of our children's life. Some of them have spoken courage out of their life. Because for every time you get to talk to them, you say demeaning things, things that will bring them down, things that will make them feel inferior. Don't do that. Teach them courage. Let them be bold. We have biblical example. Daniel was one. He was bold. He was courageous. Joseph was one. Esther was one. Teach them courage. I'm not saying teach them to be rude. I'm saying teach them courage. Let them be able to stand that the foolish doctrines of this world would not be able to overcome them. Technology is everywhere, and it is not the enemy. It is not the enemy. It is unsupervised technology that is dangerous. Be your child's friend. Know what your child is doing. We have a lot of parents out there who don't even know what their children are doing. My mom, she's my friend on Facebook, she's my brother's friend. You cannot open any Instagram page and she's not there. She'll follow you. So when you post anything that is not postable, she'll call you sharp. And in fact, my mom used to do like monitoring spirit. The moment you post, she'll come. She told me something that I did that was wrong. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. She said, so children never outgrow training. Train them. Repeat it. Be consistent. Keep at it. Don't feel, oh, she's married now, so I'll leave her. Or he's married now, so I'll leave him. No. Your job is to see to it that at the end of the day, when the roll is called up yonder, that child, the day you take your last breath, please do it. Don't think at any point in time that, oh, at this point, what's that in your Bible to say? So at this point, oh, yours is okay. No. You keep teaching until the day you are no more. Then those teachings that you have taught them will keep ringing in their head. Sometimes you sit down, your father is late or your mother is late, you remember some things that they told you years back. And you would want to be the good child that they asked you to be. So know your children. Encourage them. Please talk with your children. I cannot overemphasize this. I can't see the timer anymore, so I don't know if I still have much time. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Talk with your children. This is very important. And a lot of parents don't do it. You just come and give instructions and go. Change that pattern today. Talk with your children. Before, we used to wait until the children are matured before we start talking. Today, from age 2, 3, start talking with them. Don't see them as your subordinates. Because I think that's a lot of things that I remember a lot of times when my dad would say, do you think I'm your mate? Do you think I'm your mate? The way fathers, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but in the age of my fathers, the way they used to behave that time is when they enter the house like this, everything in the sitting room will just rearrange and everybody will run away. Immediately you hear daddy's horn. In fact, the way we grew up is that we have mastered daddy's horn. There's a way that daddy is entering the corner. I have not reached house, so he's entering the street, and you just heard the pam, or you hear his pam pam. That's daddy. Before you know, everybody, everywhere scatter. Then we go and lie down on the bed, pretend sleep. That's how some of us grew up. That's not how it's supposed to be. To treat his children like he's treating himself. So when he does something, he will do for his children. So one day, he was talking like this, and I was just there. And somebody was asking him that, you spoil your children too much. It was like, they're not spoiled. And I was like, okay, so why do you attach so much importance? He said, they're my walking stick. So imagine that when they were small, you broke your walking stick. What's going to happen to you in your old age when you need this stick to walk? You can break them with the words of your mouth. You can break them with beating. Some of us, if not for God, will not look at our parents twice. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. My biological mother did not raise me. When you hear me say my mom is this, my mom is that, that's not my biological mother. She didn't raise me. She literally abandoned me. I know her, she knows me. She dumped me with my grandmother and went away. Today, we are not close as friends, but I take care of her. I do that not because of her. I do that because of myself. Because I have seen parents who suffered on their children, and their children don't take care of them. Why? Because somewhere, they didn't take care of their own parents. Now, you know the funny thing about God's principle? If he gives you an instruction, he's not bothered about what the other person does to stop you from doing that instruction. He's only concerned about how you carry out the instruction. When Shem, Ham, and Japheth saw their father's nakedness, one laughed, the others covered. Why didn't God say, Shebi, you're the one that go and drink alcohol? No, he followed him. So I got that knowledge, and I knew that even if my mom was not there for me when I needed her, I will be there for her when she needs me, so that my children will not turn their back on me when I need them. So you can break your children with the words of your mouth. You can break them with your actions. You can break them with abuse. I've come to realize today that you can't train two children the same way. And that's one of the mistakes that our parents made. One way is the way to train a child, and it has to work. If you give birth to 17, you train the 17 of them that way. And you don't know that training two children the same way is abuse to one. Either your pattern is working well for this one, and then it's not working well. You have not seen children that were trained by the same parent, born by the same parent. One will be good, the other one will be bad. Because they tried to use the same pattern to train the two of them. And they didn't get to know the personality of this one and knows that this is what is good for this one. I have 3 children. My son is, if you want to punish him, just restrain him. Just tell him, sit down there and fold your hands. In 5 minutes, he's already crying. Mommy, I will not do it again, I promise. Because he doesn't know how to stay in one place. He's a very active child. Those kind of children that if they are here, you will know. He's very active. If you say, his name is Demilade. If you say Demilade, go and bring something there, he will run. No matter the distance, even if he's from here to there, he will run. Now, his younger sister, if you say, get inside and shut the door, you have given her the day of her life. My baby can create imaginary friends and be talking to them and be enjoying herself in a quiet place. So imagine that I'm trying to punish the two of them the same way. So I'm saying, get inside. That is to say that I'm punishing the boy, but I'm not punishing the girl. I'm giving her what she wants. So training 2 children the same way is child abuse to one. So you need to know your child. That's why I say talk with your children. It's very paramount. Very important. I used to say it's important until recently something happened in my house, and I now knew that it's more important than we think. So this particular day, I was cooking, and my son came to me and said, Mommy, I want banana. No, he said he wanted to eat. So I said, Daddy is sleeping. Let's wait for him to wake up. No, okay, I said the food is almost ready. So he came, and there was a bunch of banana on the table. And he said, Mommy, I want banana. And I said, okay, let's wait for Daddy to wake up. He will come. Then you guys can take, because I don't eat banana, but we all eat banana. So we all thought that my husband was sleeping, but alas, he was just lying down and meditating there. And then him and his younger sister, they started discussing. You know that kind of discussion you don't know somebody's listening. And the boy was like, this mommy, everything, daddy, every time, daddy. The girl now said, that's how mommy will cook food and give daddy 2 meats, you give us 1. I'm talking about 7-year-old and 9-year-old children. Kill chicken and give him lap. I should give us wings. The boy now said, now, ordinary banana. We have to wait for him to wake up. So, my husband now woke up. And when I stood up, I said, go to the prayer corner, go and kneel down and be praying to God. Because that's how we punish in my house. You do something, go to the prayer corner, go and be praying, let God forgive you. Now, pray that God will touch me not to beat you or to beat you. So you stay there and be praying, you know. And he said, pray. So my last born came and said, Mommy, that is punishing Dolamade and Demlade. I said, what did they say? I don't know. So I went there and I saw them there as well. So I went to continue my cooking. So I was expecting them to come back and they were still there. So I went to ask my husband, what happened? So he said, your children say, who am I? I said, which of them said so? Let me start beating. He was like, no, they didn't even say it that way. He now narrated what I just narrated. So I was like, hey, God, that big. So I called them and I'm like, Demlade, what happened? He now said, no, she now said, it's not me, it's Demlade that said it. So I said, okay, why did you guys say that? My son said, he said, Mommy, can I talk freely? You know, when should I say that? You know that there is problem. So I was like, no. Nobody is beating you. Daddy is not beating you, right? Not beating you. Talk freely. He said, I feel like you love daddy more than us. And I don't think it should be so. So I said, okay. I said, so how should it be? He said, I feel like you should love us equally. So I now said, okay. So I told my husband, I said, this one is not punishment matter. I said, this one is not punishment matter. Let's do this. I told him, I said, go and bring the Bible. There's a very big Bible like this in my house. Open it. I said, open Galatians chapter 5, verse 22. So we read. Husbands, love your wife, you know, as Christ loved the church and gave himself. Wives, submit yourself to your husband. So I kept reading. So I now asked him, did you hear anything about children? He said, no. I said, okay. So I said, open Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. You open. Read. Children, obey your parents in the Lord. Honor father and mother, for this is. I said, so did you hear where they say children should honor their parents? I said, yes. I say, what do you think honor is? He said, respect. I like that. Respect, Abby. I say, good. I said, so did you see where God commanded me to love my husband? He said, yes. Honor him? He said, yes. Submit to him? He said, yes. I said, submission is. He now said, Mommy, what is submission? So I said, submission is do whatever he wants. Now I say, okay. I said, so if my husband wants 2 meats now, should I give him or I should not give him? He said, no, give him. I said, okay. Let's go back to honor. So I now said, who pays your school fees? He said, Daddy. No, he said, Mommy. I said, no. Daddy gives me, I pay. But he pays. I said, have they ever come to this house and say, we didn't pay rent, so get out of the house? He said, no. I said, who takes you to school every morning? He said, Daddy. And brings you back every morning? He said, Daddy. I said, okay, good. I said, when you want to go to amusement park, this park, who pays? He said, Daddy. Do you understand? He said, like 5 or 10. I said, why? He said, because Daddy is working hard. I said, good. Now, I have instilled something in their minds. I didn't beat anybody. I didn't fight anybody. In fact, we didn't quarrel about it. But then it has stuck in their head. So the other day, a guy came to our house. He stays with us. And then he bought apples and everything. So he shared apple for everybody. And there were remaining 3 apples in the plate. And he took one. He wanted to come and give my husband. And my son ran to him, no, give Daddy 2. It has stayed. I didn't beat him. I didn't shout at him. I only communicated with him. And he understood what I was trying to say. So children understand. Don't treat them like this. Treat them like this. And you will get the best out of them. Because if you think that, Shebi is my child, I'll just tell him what I want and he has to do it. You give a child instruction, that's when he will go against that instruction. But you reason with them. That's why even God, who is in heaven, he told me and you, he say, come, let us do what? Let us reason together. The time that God made Eve and gave to Adam, the moment Adam did something and God said, Adam, what did you do? It's the woman you gave me. Oh. Shebi is you that gave me the woman. You gave her to me. So you don't instruct. You reason with your children. sit them down, explain to them, tell them this is how you do what you do. Recently, I still called my grandmother out. I told her, I said she was abusing me in the name of disciplining me. The kind of beating I was giving is the kind of one that left mark on my body. High tension wire. Those are the kind of beating that you call it. And sometimes they don't wait to ask if what they are accusing you of is true or wrong. The moment they just hear, there's one boy in choir that is talking to Yinka, you are dead. They'll finish beating you before they will now ask that, who is that boy? And you yourself, you'll not be asking, I don't know the boy you're talking about. But they will have beaten you. One of these days, my grandmother was in my house. And then I killed chicken. So I gave her, I think the thigh or something. Gave her the thigh and another part. And she was saying, Clorito fuminito. At some point I had to ask her, not true. That's how we were raised. When they cook chicken in your house, I don't know about other people, but for me, it's the leg and the head we used to eat. It's the adults in the house that used to eat the lab, the thigh, and the other. So you now come to my house, I'm not giving you thigh, you're not complaining. I had to ask her at some point that, she rewind me. And she was like, money. I said, I know. They really didn't understand. So today in my house, I keep chicken. If I give my husband thigh, I'll give my children a part of meat that they can't eat. Not leg, not because, like that man will say, they are your walking stick. So the way you treat your walking stick is how your walking stick will treat you. People like us, God divine intervention, and God came into our lives, and we know that whatever you do is unto you and unto God, not to you and to man. That's why we do some of the things we do. My dad was never in the picture of my life for the longest time that I can remember. But I still take care of him, not because of him, but because of the Christ in me. But then there are some children who didn't get the opportunity to learn forgiveness as they knew Christ. They will treat you the same way you treated them. So whatever you want from them is what you should put in them. And how you put it is how you act and what you reason with them about. Now, she told me recently, and she was like, buy money, visitor is coming to my house. Visitor that has no value to you. You will carry the best plates, the best pot, the best cup. You cook chicken, you carry the lap, the thigh, the head, you give to visitor that will come to your house for one day and go. Probably for the rest of your life, you might not meet again. I'm begging us in this generation, please don't make that mistake. Don't treat your children like trash. Treat them like they are your everything. My husband used to believe that the father is the father of the house, the mother should take care of everything. Over time, I started pushing the children to him little by little. They want to bath. I won't fight it like, come on, go and fight, bath your children. I'll put the water in the bedroom, I'll put the soap, I'll put the child. Then I'll run outside to the kitchen. And I'll be like, B, please help me bath that girl, I'm coming. And he knows we're going late now. He's the one that's going to school, so he'll be like, me, I work from home. So I'm okay. And then he'll be like, oh, but here we go. Later, I turned it to 2 children. Later, it became the 3 of them. Now, he's more like their best friend. Sometimes they want something, go to your daddy. Come, mommy, please, can I have this? Go and tell your daddy. Then, as they are going, because back in those days, they don't really understand Yoruba as much as they do now. So as they are going, I'm already telling them, so that they will not see you as a wicked person. Do you know why? Mothers are parents to their children by nature. They carry them here. So from day one, they have shared umbilical cord. They have done all the relationship. But you see, fathers, they are parents to their children by introduction. You know that when a mother gives birth to her child, she carries her child and nurses him. When the father comes, you hear something like, see daddy, right? You hear things like, this is daddy. Do you know that if you had introduced a goat to that child as daddy, you will call that goat daddy? So as a father, you were introduced to your children they didn't know you by nature. Yes, you produce the sperm that give birth to them. But the only person they know, they have heard her voice from day one. They had known her heartbeat from day one. That's why people used to wonder, how does a child know? When a child is crying, the moment he enters his mother's hand, you keep quiet. It's not because he knows her face, it's because he knows the heartbeat. He has gotten accustomed to the heartbeat. So if you don't play your part as a father, it's easy for them to grow up and that they will send their mother 10 million and send you 100K. Because it's easy for children to see the sacrifices of women. Do we know? But you see the burdens that fathers carry. Children don't see it. You have to tell them. You have to show them. You have to let them know. I said something the other time. I said, when I ask my children, who pay your school fee, they say, mommy. Because it's me that will go to their school and go and do school runs. So to them, it's mommy. I had to say, it's not mommy. Daddy will give me money. I will now pay. Now, it's easy. Men easily say, and the mothers have colored the children. They have silenced the fathers. The mothers didn't do that, sir. You did that. Now, let me explain. We said it earlier that children don't listen to what you say. They watch what you do. We wake up in the morning. Mommy is bathing them. She's in the kitchen. She's coming back. She's doing this one. She's going. She's coming. What are the children seeing? Their mommy is active. Their daddy is sitting down with remote control and watching TV or reading newspaper. When assignments come, go and meet your mommy. When this one come, go and meet your mommy. When this one carry, what? So at the end of the day, even if the mother says, your daddy is trying, do you think they will hear you? They'll tell you, it's not in front of our eyes that we are seeing everything. This mommy likes to cover up too much. We know parents children who will tell you that their mother is always covering up for their daddy. Every month she'll be covering up, She's not trying to cover up. She's just trying to tell them that your daddy is doing his best. But they're not seeing it because you're not acting like you're doing your best. Get involved in your children's life. Sometimes call them, sit down, talk. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Okay. I might not be able to provide for you, but I will do your own. You know what? I'll give it to your mommy will give you. They know. So even when mommy comes and says, take your school fees, the first thing they will say is, daddy gave you Abi? You say yes. Why? Because daddy has told them. But our fathers don't do that. They just call, Bola, Bale, and then you are gone. Children ain't about the money you give them. They're not about the clothes you buy for them. They're not even about the food you give them to eat. They're about the warmth you allow them to feel. And that's what mothers produce every time, non-stop. So that's why it's easy for them to gravitate towards their mothers than to their fathers. The Lord will help us in the name of Jesus. I think my time is up. God will help us in the name of Jesus. So discipline in love and with love. And the Lord will help us in the name of Jesus. So as keynote, I will leave you by saying that do not leave the responsibility of renewing the minds of your children to an outsider. Because when God created the family, he said the man shall leave his father. That is to say, even your father, for those who used to go and adopt children with grandma and say, grandma will take care of that children, it's not the responsibility of the grandma. Your children's relationship with grandma should be holidays. For instance, tomorrow now I'm taking my children to Abuja to go and do holiday and they'll come back in September. Let me rest more. But that's to it. A man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cleave to his wife, and the two shall be one. It is my responsibility as a mother, your responsibility as a father, to unitedly with my wife or with my husband, raise my children in the way of the Lord. The Lord will help us in the name of Jesus. Let's bow down our heads and pray and ask God, say, Father, I would enable me not to raise Belial children. Enable me to raise God-fearing children, kingdom children. I know that I have no power of my own. I know that I can't do this by myself. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4 says, do not provoke your children to wrath. Don't provoke them to anger, but bring them up in the training and instructions of the Lord. Say, Father, help me to bring up my children in the training and in the